Hopefully it, oh, there we go. All right.
Thanks, Adam. Alright. Good evening, everyone here at the library, everyone online. Welcome to May Haven Community Management Team Meeting. Just wanted to let everyone know, if you know any friends or relatives that have never come on by, join us either via Zoom or here at the library, the more the merrier. What we want to do is work on focus, no fault problem solving. Those who are
Oh, library, your internet's cut out. Hello, library.
Hi.
we're here.
Hi, sorry,
Can you hear?
I just say your internet is very choppy there. If you make sure you're not like next to anything metal or something.
Can you hear us now?
All right, sounds better. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so I'll just start over. Welcome again, everyone. Those joining us via Zoom in here. Just want to again invite anyone, friends, family, other you would think is interested in coming by either in person or online. We focus on no fault problem solving. To for those who are a little bit more.
Hold on. So Carmen Mendez needs to be muted because we're having.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that was I thought that was the library. I'm like, you guys are breaking up.
Yeah.
So okay.
Thank you. There's one more person that.
You can actually look under participants and then you can see whose microphone is. Use them.
Oh,
They may be unclear that.
okay, perfect. Thank you. So once again, and
All right, Carmen.
don't repeat the whole thing again.
There we go. Great.
I'm sorry. So anyway, just open on a safe space to talk. We're action oriented. We decide what we want, we're plan for it to happen. We're Fairhaven Center of Collaboration. We proceed and end on time and honor the agenda. So we quickly go over the Zoom instructions. For the microphones are muted if you're not speaking. Use the chat box and the recording. We're going to call the meeting officially to order, and we'll do the roll call of the board.
Okay, Liz.
Present.
Gina, absent. Abby. Adam. He is present. Lee.
Present.
We're all here.
All right, thank you. And
Except
have we
Gina.
established?
And then before we get started, I think maybe if the library could turn off its camera and we can hear you. I think it's more important that we hear you than we see you. And it seems like the bandwidth is a little limited this week.
Turn off the video.
Like that.
Correct.
All right.
Sounds like we're having some bandwidth issue.
He looks like he froze.
No one's moving.
Okay, can y'all hear us?
That's so much better. Thank you.
Huh?
That's much better. We can hear you much better.
Okay, great.
All right. My apologies, everyone. So moving forward, have we established?
We are very close. I'm getting the last few in here. People are still kind of coming in, making sure I'm getting everybody. Check back in 2 minutes. Library?
What are you
Oh,
adjusting?
no.
Oh, I'm just adjusting the sign sheet for him.
Ash, is this the right kind of granola bar?
Okay.
Oh,
Share.
Okay, I think we can move on to the financial report when Christina's ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, great.
Okay, you're good. Thank you.
And then
So,
we'll loop back when we have quorum, Adam.
yeah.
Sounds
So,
good.
since I'm just going to quickly read over our financial report. For financial statement for April 20, March ending balance was $4,138. It has remained the same for April ending balance, and no has been reported between now and then. And I think that's about it for the financial statement. Before we move forward with Lieutenant Fumiani, in order the minutes, we have to have quorum, correct?
Yes, so we now have quorum.
Okay, so just wanted to make sure, double check that there's nothing that needs to be updated or with last month's meeting minutes, so we can go ahead and approve them. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Nothing on my end in the library. Anyone on your end? I don't.
All right, anyone online, did you have any problems with last month's minutes? If not, they will be approved. All right, seeing none online.
Okay, nothing here. They are approved. Thank you so much, Adam. So moving ahead, we have Michael Fumiani joining us via Zoom. Thank you so much, Lieutenant.
Good evening, everyone. This week, for the last month, Fairhaven, I don't want to say we had a good month, but we overall, because we had a homicide, I'll get into that in a minute. But overall crime, we've got reductions of in all major violent crime in Fairhaven year to date. It's over 60% reduction in robberies with a firearm. Fairhaven did not have a robbery for the last 6 weeks, which in the time that I've been a district manager, that is very rare. So I'm not naive to the fact that I highly doubt that we're not having robberies. I bet we are decreased in those numbers, but if you know anyone who has experienced a robbery or has something that could be similar to a robbery and they are afraid to come forward or don't want to come forward, please encourage them to. I think that our stats are down just by way of not having those robberies, but so I am concerned that because people might not be reporting them also. So that's a 66% reduction in robbery with a firearm. Assault with firearm victims is down 83% this year so far. Aggravated assaults are also down 64% with a total reduction in violent crime by over 50% from this time last year. We've also seen significant reductions in confirmed shots fired incidents, which is very good, especially with the expansion of ShotSpotter. We figured that we would see more incidents of gunfire because of the expansion of ShotSpotter, but we've actually seen a 22% reduction so far year to date. The last 30 days have been pretty good in Fairhaven. We've seen an increase in motor vehicle stops. I appreciate the motorcycle unit coming out to Fairhaven quite a bit. Both at the beginning of the year in January and also in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, they've conducted, they had a 300% increase in motor vehicle stops. One of the areas of concern I know was Blatchley and Peck. There was a new four-way stop put in over there that I know we've had a hard time with people obeying to try to limit some of the activities over there. And so the motorcycle unit was tasked with conducting some traffic enforcement in that area. I wanted to talk about the most major incident that we had in the last month, and that is a homicide in which a 26-year-old female from New Haven, Tanya Rodriguez, lost her life on April 23rd. Just after 1 o'clock in the morning, if you remember, this was the night that there was torrential downpour. So the night that it was really, really bad rain, thunder. This incident happens just before that. So it's 1:11 in the morning. The dispatch center receives a call from a male who says that he had just shot someone on Saltonstall Avenue. He provided a description of himself. Officers quickly responded to the area and were able to take that man into custody. His name was Leon Guerrero. He was held on a $2 million bond. It was determined that a dispute had occurred between a number of individuals in that area. It looks like it was not a targeted incident as far as Ms. Rodriguez and Mr. Guerrero knowing each other. It's just in the course of the fight, a firearm was discharged, and unfortunately, Ms. Rodriguez was struck and then eventually succumbed to her injuries. That was at 190 Salton Stall. That intersection, that block is of concern lately for me this year. We've had 2 homicides in that area, even though they are unrelated and totally unrelated. And but those incidents are still of concern. We've put a walking beat out there. I will continue to have a walking beat out there. I walked with a couple of the chiefs and a bunch of community partners and service providers to try to bring some resources to some families that are out there, any children who had experienced the trauma or heard about the trauma, as well as trying to get Clifford Beers and a bunch of other organizations to provide resources to any families who might need them in that area. So we've had a decent presence out there since then. Overall in Fairhaven, things are going really well. What I would encourage everyone to do is we've over the last month or so, we've seen an increase, as a lot of agencies have across the country, of an increase of stolen Kias and Hyundais. And so if you have a Kia or a Hyundai, we have a number of locks that are available to you. You'll notice that the New Haven Police Department, Lieutenant Przybylski, got a ton of those a couple of months ago. And a number of other agencies have followed suit and started to hand those out to people. I'm told that there will be an update to Kia and Hyundai, some computer update or something that would allow them to not be as stolen as easily. I'm not a wizard as far as stealing cars go, and so I'm not sure exactly how it works. But as far as I'm told, you can pretty much steal a Kia or a Hyundai with a quick YouTube video and one of the USB chargers that goes into your car. And so that's how it's happening. Honestly, it's a lot of juveniles. I stopped a vehicle the other day that was a stolen vehicle that was taken in a carjacking at gunpoint, and we arrested 3 13-year-olds and a 17-year-old. So it's not a very good situation when there are young children stealing vehicles. But so I think it's important that everyone's aware of that. That is an evolving crime trend. Fairhaven luckily has not been as much of a victim as some other districts. Fairhaven, we had 1 Kia stolen in the last 2 weeks. Some other districts had 7 to 10. And so that is a problem around the city, but we've been lucky in Fairhaven to avoid that. Otherwise, we've continued presence at Grand and Atwater. We're still working on some of the issues there. Officers are handing out tickets to some of the individuals that are there selling marijuana, hanging out on the regular. We're also looking at some Officer Velez did a phenomenal job at 480 Ferry Street at Rupolo Manor with him working alongside with the management company there to address some citizen concerns around loitering, some other illegal activities going on in and around those buildings. And so he's done a phenomenal job. And we're just continuing presence along the Ferry Street corridor and Grand Avenue. I'm really looking forward to, in a positive note, I'm really looking forward to Saturday, Fairhaven Day. My wife is very, very, very pregnant. And so as long as she does not have a child on Saturday, I will be there.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Plumiati, to you and your family. Are there any questions, comments in the room or for Lieutenant Plumiati?
I'd like to say something if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
This,
someone in the room.
Frank Redenti. I am the Youth Development Coordinator at Fairhaven School. I'm also the Evening Street Outreach Worker. And I just wanted to give Mike a shout out. Since August 1st, I've been working the streets for CTVIP doing violence intervention. As a lifelong Fairhavener, I don't think I've ever met a police officer more committed to the neighborhood he's working at. And I'd just like to thank him again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Frank. I appreciate that. I saw there was a question in there from Patricia. It says, where can we pick up the car locks? I'll have to check and see what the how many we have left, and I'll get back to you on that. We have a few. I see somebody asking about any update on the Lewis Street shooting last month. There are, we have some investigative leads on it, but I'm not at liberty to talk about it in public at this time. But yes, we do have some leads on it.
Thank you. We have a question here in the room.
How you doing, Lieutenant Plumiati?
Hey, Robbie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
The unexpected. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
We're getting a lot of cars double parked on my street especially, and by Clinton Food Store. And some of these vehicles, plates on there. Why are they double parked? are our regular officers in motor vehicle or just the motor vehicle division? These cars don't have plates on them and they're double parked.
Sorry, Robbie, I could only hear half of your question there.
My question was, a lot on Clinton Avenue especially, and well, there, over there. Cars are double parking for not 5 minutes, but 30 minutes. The vehicles have no plates on the cars, and I'm wondering if our officers that are in District 8 are, if they come across this, are they gonna pull behind them or are they gonna just drive by?
So it depends on the situation, Robbie. Honestly, like our staffing issues are pretty bad for the summertime. I'll be very honest with everyone here. We're down. We have more police officers leaving every single day. It's really not a good situation. We've done a lot of hiring, but we're honestly at the same numbers that we were at the beginning of the summer last year, and we're continuing to lose police officers to other jurisdictions. I think largely because we don't have a contract right now. That's not a very good thing. And so that's a challenge for us. So right now in Fairhaven, our numbers are not as much as they should be. And so officers, honestly, sometimes will drive by that because they don't have the time to address it. When they do have time to address it, though, Robbie, they absolutely have been. If you happen to notice somebody who's double parked or it's happening on the regular, you can certainly call the non-emergency number. Feel free to shoot me a text too if there's a bunch of cars that are hanging out in some area. I'll have officers go through when they're free and take some enforcement action on them. I've been doing it myself. I'm really concerned with the boom cars this summer. So that's one of my missions is to reduce the amount of boom cars around the city, specifically in Fairhaven. And then also obviously ATVs and dirt bikes. So we've got a couple of details out. We've got some drones that we're going to use to try to safely apprehend some of these individuals and discourage some of that behavior. So.
Right, thank you, but some of these cars are in bad, that's why. All right, but thank you, I appreciate the help.
Thanks, Robbie.
I have a question.
We have one more question from Christina. Go ahead.
I just want to know about, I feel like there's a lot of shootings that are happening. And I don't know if it's specifically New Haven. Is this not charged? No.
I have it.
So last night there was a shooting on Exchange, and it woke me up at 12:25 in the or it was something going on. Then we heard like sirens and everything. And so
Yeah, there was gunfire at Front and Exchange Street last night. Yes.
Yeah, it was really scary. It was out because I live on Brewery Square, so it woke me up out of sleep. Like 10 shots, maybe 8, 9 shots. Dang. Is there any other? I hadn't heard anything. I was looking to see if I was going to hear anything about that.
So that generally what I do is I cover the previous month, the month that we're talking about. So that wouldn't have been something that I would have covered unless somebody was interested in it. Honestly, I don't have any updates investigatively. Usually what happens for where shots fired are concerned. So using ShotSpotter and NIBIN technology, what we do is we collect the shell casings and we analyze them. And then as part of that, we then can determine where the firearms have been fired at other times. And that leads us to a number of different investigative avenues. That's along the same lines as what happened on Lewis Street. And so there are investigative avenues that are being explored for something that just happened in last night. I would have no other information about that for probably about a day or two. But I can certainly, if you wanted to follow up with me, I'd gladly give you any information that I can regarding that investigation. As far as shots fired around the city, let me see if I can look at the data here real quick. Yeah, so the entire city is up. There's been 100 incidents of gunfire, confirmed shots fired in the city of New Haven. I would say there's two things that concern me about that. One, the numbers are higher because we can collect them because of ShotSpotter. I think the media largely covers it much more, but also people are firing a lot more shots. And so it's very concerning. At the beginning of my career, you would see incidents where people fired, 3 to 5 shots. It was very rare to come across an incident where 30 shots were fired. A couple of weeks ago in District 9, off of Quinnipiac Avenue, there was an incident where 40 shots were fired. There was an incident on Middletown Avenue on the overnight a couple of weeks ago where 60 plus shots were fired. And so these are really, really concerning incidents. And, you know, I can't really say anything to help anybody feel better. It's not other than like every single time we have the opportunity to, we've seized more guns than ever in the history of the New Haven Police Department. We did it last year. We seized more than we've ever seized. And this year so far, all those plainclothes units that I talk about are shooting task force, the state police violence reduction task force that all work out of one union, are constantly catching violent offenders with ghost guns and extended magazines. And so I don't know if that's any help to make people feel better about that. But unfortunately, that's kind of the problem that we're stuck in here. It's not just New Haven, it's other jurisdictions as well.
I just have one question, is Liz. Tuesday night, at Grand and, oh my gosh, I think East Street, Grand and East over there. I think was there another incident over there too? Because they had it like kind of closed off over there by, right in front of the Meat King.
So that was an individual who was struck by on a scooter who was struck by a car.
Oh. I hope they're all right.
Yes, they're all right.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions here in the room?
I saw there were a couple on the side here. Let's see. Mr. Silvestri said, Lieutenant, my even side of Lloyd Street, Grand to Clay, still an issue with parking on the sidewalk. Thanks, Mr. Silvestri. I actually talked to traffic and parking. They had sent out some agents to do some enforcement on the street, but they were confronted by some people who were not happy about the agents doing enforcement. And so we will gladly take on that. The police department will gladly assist them in taking some enforcement action on those vehicles that are illegally parked on the sidewalks there. Mr. Hunter said, how can we help with the boom cars and ATVs? Honestly, anytime that you see these vehicles, there was one that the reason I was able to give a ticket to the individual who was driving around Fairhaven blasting music was because someone alerted me to it. And so I got a text message on my phone. Someone took a picture of it. I drove to that area, heard the music, pulled over the car and gave them a ticket. And so if you send it to me, I'll do it either myself if I'm working, or I can delegate it to another officer. Same thing goes with the ATVs. If you know people are storing them, we've seen them store them at U-Haul. We've seen them drive in trucks from out of town. And so if you happen to see those things in passing, where people are loading up 7 or 8 dirt bikes onto a truck or a U-Haul truck, and it is safe for you to do so, and you can take a picture, we keep everything anonymous. You don't have to worry about anything where that's concerned. Officers will do their investigation and be able to stop those people and conduct an investigation without mentioning your name as far as sending us the information goes. Should we take a pic of the VIN numbers of cars without plates and send it to you? Lee, if you can do that safely, that would be great. That allows us to respond faster. I would know pretty much almost instantly as soon as you send me that picture. We run it. If it's a stolen car, that takes a higher priority, so officers would be sent out faster. So yes, if you can take a picture of a VIN number of cars without plates, that'd be great. I'm trying to get traffic and parking to come out to the district more, but incidents like Lloyd Street getting threatened by some people illegally parking doesn't help my cause. And so I want them to be able to do their jobs, but I want them to be able to do it safely. In the meantime, the police department will take on those responsibilities. So if you see cars that are habitually in areas, we will get to them when we have some downtime. Just let me know where they are, and we can certainly tow them out of there. And thank you for all the congratulations around the baby.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for everything you do for our community, Lieutenant.
Did you catch the Lauren Vicio's comment update on the Lewis Street shooting?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Okay, moving on.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
We have with LCI, Ms. Carmen Mendez. She's joining us via Zoom. Ms. Mendez.
Good evening to all of you. I hope you're all doing well. As far as I want to point.
Hey, Carmen, your mic's broken or something. It's coming out weird.
You can't hear me?
No.
No, it sounds like a tinny old speaker, like the speaker's blown or something. I don't know.
You sound like the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what to do about that. excellent.
Okay, now you're sucking out helium.
You sound like a chipmunk.
That
Strange.
gives out helium now, huh?
Carmen, could you call the number and call in on your phone?
Yeah, what's the name should I call into?
Yeah, let me find it.
It's 646 558 8656. And then it's going to ask for a PIN. The PIN is 447 517 2271. The PIN again is 447 517 2271. So you're actually here. I can put that in the chat. Oh, Aaron, I think that's you. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, I don't want to be too loud. So I wanted to say good evening to everyone, and that I hope everything is well with you. For last month, I think I reported in the beginning of the month. Hold on, I'm getting a bad echo.
Yeah, I think that's the in-person meeting.
Yeah, or mute your computer mic.
Correct.
The phone.
I did
No,
do
it's
that.
not
Is it
Carmen.
better?
It's the in-person meeting, getting feedback.
Oh, but you can hear me.
Oh, now it's good. Now it's good.
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 Okay, good. Thank you. Did you hear me when I said good evening, everyone? I hope everyone is doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. Last month, at the beginning of the month, I had mentioned that I had inspected 48 properties that needed to be written letters to. Of those 48, I was only able to write 28 letters. So I'm short. However, the month has been very, 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 very busy. I have literally a stack of papers here of all the phone calls that were made on issues regarding Fairhaven, particularly areas of Exchange, Grand, Poplar, Atwater, Lloyd, River, James, Clay, Monroe. Anyway, there are a lot of calls from there. What I started to do was I decided to work with a coworker of mine who's in housing code. And I suggested to his deputy director that we go out and do mini sweeps. But instead of, I respond to See Click Fix very quickly. However, when you're responding to See Click Fix and you're responding to complaints, it makes you very scattered. And you can put out a fire here, then another fire comes along. And what happens is you don't have a real streamlined way of dealing with neighborhood issues because you're so busy putting out fires. And in Fairhaven, unlike when I was at downtown Worcester, which was pretty much heaven, Fairhaven has a lot of issues, has a lot of people with needs. So I asked this deputy director if I could work with one of his housing code inspectors. And what we've done is we've taken blocks. We took Clay Street, for example, went by house by house by house by house, and wrote up houses that were not in compliance. And usually when I say that, I mean, it has to be grotesquely out of compliance. You know, if you have a little bit of skank here and there, we don't write you up for that. But we're talking, you know, you emptied out a living room. Again, you emptied out a dining hall. You've left it on the side yard or in the front of your house. Those are the kinds of violations that we look for. We did all of Clay Street. We did parts of Poplar Street. We did Woolcott Street. parts of Lloyd, Salt and Stall, and Exchange. And I had a meeting with the deputy director this evening, maybe about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And he said that he would continue to do it because he thought it was a very good idea to do it that way. It's more cohesive. We take the worst the worst situations and deal with them in conjunction. We can put an arrest warrant out now. Before, the only power that I had was a $100 a day fine. But housing code can actually, after 2 attempts, on the 3rd attempt, issue a warrant for someone's arrest. So it is a lot stronger. It's a lot better. It gives me a lot more leverage. And it seems to be working. And I'm going to continue to do that and see overall, and then report back to you to see if that way of working has actually been fruitful. But we're just trying it out right now to see what happens. And the last 2 weeks, I've been working on making sure that our crews, again, Frank Diamore, I am not in charge of any crew, but Frank Diamore, my boss, gave me permission to direct the staff who does the maintenance. And they have been sweeping all of Fairhaven, picking up bulk and trash on public rights of way. That's actually a public works function, but we've been doing it not only to help public works because they're also shorthanded, but we wanted to clear everything, and in particular that became more important in the last week and a half because in the last 2 weeks because of the parade on Saturday. So we've been walking up and down Grand Avenue. We've been spotting, debris and talking to the merchants to tell them that this is not acceptable. We've made a real all-out effort to make sure that people understand that we expect Grand Avenue to be clean. And I only wish that we had another event in the near future because I think that people are listening and people are caring, particularly around an event. And maybe we should have some more events so that we can really spruce up Grand Avenue in a very good way. And that is my report. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, what question?
Carmen, I know Grand Avenue is a main thoroughfare, but like Ferry Street, from B&M down to past, to Chapel Street, I mean, the garbage just thrown out and it's all over the place. The houses are a mess. The garbage is, there's clothes laying around. I don't know, I know Grand Avenue is a priority, but Ferry Street is the cross street too.
Yes, I understand that completely, and I agree with you. And Ferry Street is one of the next streets we talked about. Cynthia Rivera and myself, who's a good friend of mine at Public Works, we talked about that, and we're going to be doing a sweep on Ferry Street. It won't be until next week, but we're going to be doing a sweep of Ferry Street because it's a, I stopped in one of the grocery stores. I was stunned. I won't mention the name, but it's on Ferry Street. And I went in to get something to drink because I was thirsty, some water basically. Anyway, the condition of the store was horrible. And I stepped outside the store and there was litter everywhere and the curb was absolutely filled with litter. Now the person happened to see the back of my shirt, which says LCI. So I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I see a man rush out with a broom and a dustpan. And I decided to just stand there and watch this man sweep. And I watched and I watched and I watched. And then I went up to him and said to him, thank you for sweeping up the street. Keep it up. I want you to clean up the curb as well. I said, this trash comes from this store. And I said, I'm so glad you're doing something about it. Otherwise, we would have had to give you $100 summons per day. And he was very grateful. I don't think he'd be doing that again. If he, Cynthia said, if she drives by tomorrow and there's trash, he will get a $100 fine. So we know that Ferry Street is very important, extremely important. It's a big avenue. It's an avenue with very many beautiful homes. And it's heavily traveled. There's every reason to keep Ferry Street clean. And we will be hitting Ferry Street. Believe you me, we will be hitting Ferry Street.
Thank you.
Thank you. One more question in the room from Robbie, then I'll check online.
Hi, Carmen. I was
Hi,
just wondering,
Robbie, how are you?
good, how are you? I was just
I'm
wondering,
okay, sweetheart.
I was just wondering on an update that, myself and Sarah Miller, had asked you last month about the mechanic work being done in the streets and in the backyards. Is there any update on this yet?
What we have done, I have had to deal with two zoning issues just recently. We don't have zoning officers right now. There is one zoning officer, but he's also the deputy director of city plan. And so he's overwhelmed with work. They're in the process of hiring a zoning person. What I have done there's an illegal car repair business on one area, and then there's a two-cycle engine repair shop in another. So I've had to call everyone in City Hall to get someone to go out there and see them. I think we will be a little bit more relieved once we get a zoning officer, but right now it's really tough. You can still bring your complaints to me. I will try my very best to get something done for you. But it's difficult because we just don't have the staff.
I know, but it's hurting our neighborhood very bad. We got people doing motor work in the streets with oil contamination. We got people putting antifreeze down these drains. It's a $5,000 from the DEP. It's a big problem, especially in Fairhaven.
Yes, and I want you to know that.
We're doing mechanic work on Easter Sunday. That's how bad it is.
Yes, I have worked with DEEP and the police inspectors of the Department of Motor Vehicles. And they're also down, by the way. They're also down. The one man who spoke to me said, I'm the only one in the state right now. We're trying to hire some people. Everyone is low-staffed everywhere I call. But I work with these people and ask them to come down. And if they're caught or it is found that there's illegal material dumped in the sewer, and someone knows who it's done, they could be fined. They could be fined. It's a major offense.
Okay, we gotta speed up these Q&As. So we'll do one quickly here and then we'll quickly do ones online. But sorry, we have a lot on the agenda. But did you have a question?
Oh, yes, for LCI, I put a number of ski click fix requests in for graffiti. And I put them in, and then they sit in the system for a while, and then they go to one department, then they get submitted to LCI, they sit there for a while, and then they just randomly get closed out as completed, but nothing was done. And they just get, and then I resubmit it again, and it goes to the whole same, and it says completed. So how can it be completed if there's graffiti that was there that I reported, and then there's more graffiti on top of the graffiti, and it just keeps spreading, and yet every request I put in for the graffiti just gets closed out by LCI. So I just don't know, is there another department that's supposed to be handling it, or is it an LCI issue?
No, I think there are a couple of issues. The city used to pay to remove graffiti from the walls. It just got very expensive. We're no longer doing that because we actually found out that we were spinning our wheels and wasting a lot of taxpayer money. Because no sooner did we say that again?
This is private property. One example is River Street and Ferry Street. The warehouse there, or the garage is there or something, and the whole building going all the way up to the bridge is covered in graffiti. And I reported it a couple of times, and it just keeps getting closed out. So why don't you go to the owner?
I don't know why that keeps
we're not cleaning up the graffiti.
I don't know why that keeps getting closed down, and I apologize for that. I know you're talking about 2436 River Street. They have a notice of violation that I wrote to them in January. We are in swing of enforcing that with citations if it's not removed. I spoke to the gentleman myself on April, I think it was the 15th. It was just before tax day. And I told him he had to remove the graffiti, so he's well aware of it. I don't know why you're getting closed down. I have no idea. But
Okay.
we still are writing letters, notices of violations for private properties.
Don't they get fined?
So we have to move on because we've got like three additional presenters. But I would encourage everybody who has questions for Carmen, she's gonna put her phone number in the chat and her email, and I would encourage you to connect with her one-on-one. Unless there are questions that like.
I just say,
Public.
can we get Frank? Frank's been very patiently waiting since the beginning
Yeah.
here.
Is Frank the only one online with a question?
That's the only one that I've seen so far.
Okay,
So.
yeah, so I would connect with Carmen one-on-one to troubleshoot.
I connect
that.
with Carmen every day one-on-one.
No,
I'm
not you.
gonna
I'm
let,
talking-
all right.
I'm
Well, I
talking
just
to-
wanted to say that Carmen is doing her best. Let's all give Carmen a break because it is the system that is broken. Carmen is trying her best. I live at 405 Poplar. I come into these meetings as the VIP worker. I rarely ever come in as a resident. I've lived in Fairhaven my whole life. And I'm going to address this meeting later. I'm on the agenda, but I wanted to give Carmen a shout out. I have been dealing with an illegal garage at 405 Poplar for 3 years. The guy moved in, built the garage next door to my house in 3 days with a crew of about 20 guys. It's facing my house, so it funnels all the noise, fumes. Mike Fumiati and Carmen will tell you, I have sent them hundreds of photos and videos. This is the same guy that was written about in the Independent that they busted with those big giant speakers on top of the cars. I sit in my bedroom and watch him build these things outside my window. He plays them at a volume so loud that it knocks stuff off the walls in my house. I have called Carmen. We have called. We have a zoning officer, like she says, that holds a whole nother job in this city and can only dedicate 3 hours a week to zoning. How is that something that's okay, people? So what I did was I started blowing Justin up. I have been emailing Justin. So I've been pushing him for a year now, and he sent me a communication to the BOA that's being worked on now for this noise ordinance where they are going to shut these cars down. But what we need to do is we need to pressure them to start making the city departments responsible for stuff like zoning. Because I'll tell you what, these illegal garages are what's killing Fairhaven right now. The reason Robbie is talking about parking on streets is because of these illegal garages. My street right now in Poplar, you can't find a parking space all because of one house. He has 12 vehicles out there right now and 7 in his yard, including jet skis, boats, motorcycles. So please do me a favor. Just give Carmen a break. She's trying the best she can. She has a very tough job, and that department is understaffed. All those departments are way understaffed. So, Carmen, I appreciate you and all the attention you've given to 405 Poplar over the last 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate that.
All right, if there are any questions, Carmen has been here faithfully every meeting, every month, and she puts her number and her email in the chat. So I would encourage, if any of you have any issues that are LCI related, she's happy to connect one-on-one to troubleshoot those. So thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Have a good night.
All right, and quick reminder that J1 Carter with the Civilian Review Board will do a quarterly presentation. And if you need to contact him, his email address is j1.carter@gmail.com. And I'll go ahead and try to type that really quick into the chat, and we'll move on to economic development updates with Ms. Kathleen Krolak. Is she online? I'm just trying to find her quickly.
As I say, just looking at the agenda, did we just kind of miscategorize the Meet King
Yeah,
presentation?
we'll do it in announcements. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Kathleen. She was here. I think she might have dropped off.
Okay, that's okay. If she's no longer with us, we'll just keep moving forward. If she comes back on, I'll circle back. So very quickly with our vision in action. We have next up with Mr. David Murphy with Connecticut Institute for Resilience and Climate Adaptation. And he's here in house with us. Let me see if I can try to turn the camera back on.
Speak up here, or where's the best place?
Yeah, if you could speak in front of the camera, that would.
Yeah, I
be
just turned
great.
it back
I think
on.
the camera, okay. It's back.
Camera's facing on, so-
All right, so I guess I can stand in the middle.
Yeah, stand in the middle.
So my name is John Krasinski. My colleague David Murphy, who's in the back here. So thanks for giving us a couple minutes. We just wanted to introduce ourselves. We sent a couple of slides. I don't know if you got those, if we can get them up
Yeah,
quickly, but if not, don't worry about it.
Adam, I emailed them to you about 20 minutes ago, but if you're not checked, so they're in the inbox.
Yeah, if they're not ready, don't worry about it.
Resilient Fairhaven?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So
Give
we
me
work with,
30 seconds.
we work with a group called Circa. So Circa is a research institute at UConn. Stands for the Connecticut Institute for Resilience and Climate Adaptation. So we do research on climate change. You know, how's climate change going to affect Connecticut communities? And we've been working on this project called Resilient Connecticut for the last couple of years. And as part of that project, we're basically doing analysis of, you know, where across Connecticut do we see vulnerabilities to some of the effects of climate change. Mostly we focus on flooding and heat through this program, Resilient Connecticut. So as part of that, Fairhaven was one of the places where we identified, you know, there's parts of the neighborhood that flood, there's parts of the neighborhood that are vulnerable to hot days and extreme heat. Those are both things that we expect are going to, you know, become worse as a result of climate change. And so we reached out to the city originally about, hey, should we do some work here? Can we develop a project? I reached out to Lee Cruz about a year and a half ago, and Lee was really helpful at, you know, taking me around the neighborhood and really understanding what some of the issues are, whether it's the flooding at the underpass in Humphrey Street, that sometimes, you know, will flood when there's a lot of rain. There's flooding on Middletown Avenue sometimes, you know, there's flooding along River Street in that part of the neighborhood. So we basically developed this project. The goal of the project is really to come up with strategies, you know, like what are some strategies to help the neighborhood adapt and become more resilient to flooding and to extreme heat. And so this is one of the things we started to develop, and it's basically a map of parts of the neighborhood that flood. And then we look at the future, you know, how is flooding going to change? And we project that onto the map. So it helps us to start to understand, okay, there's certain parts of the neighborhood that need attention where we might be able to develop, you know, a project or strategies to help the neighborhood become more resilient. This map here is something that our team has been developing, and it's really just trying to map out all the services and assets and things that are important to the community. And get those all on a map, and then look at the places that flood, look at how the flooding and the heat impacts might affect, you know, the things that are vital to the community. And so we just wanted to introduce this project, and, you know, we've been working on it for a couple of months. We're going to be doing this until October. And we're starting to ramp up the part of it where we want the community to really be driving hey, this is what's important. This is what we want to make sure is protected in the future. And so that's why we're here to introduce ourselves and, you know, talk about some upcoming ways to get involved in the project if you're interested. We'll be at Fairhaven Day this Saturday with a table, and we'll have a bunch of big maps and, you know, places where you can look more in depth at some of the work we've been doing. We also developed a survey. You know, some people, you know, are not going to come to the meeting, but maybe they want to contribute by filling out the survey. And then I do think we'll have a couple more opportunities to just have a meeting, a workshop where people who are interested can come and we can work on this together. So I think that's all I have for now. And, you know, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and maybe we can come back and talk about the project in a couple months if, you know, if there's time.
That's great.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you for working on behalf of our neighborhood.
Any questions? No?
Oh, one question.
Hi,
How often are FEMA flood maps, updated?
It depends, you know, I mean, they update them every 5 to 10 years, I would guess.
You know, for our area, how, when the last time they were updated or whether you?
I think the last one was 2013, yeah.
There was a 2016 update for the Quinnipiac, but
See, David he knows all the
recent sort of.
I live on Front Street and we have Quinnipiac River Park across
Yeah.
the street, and that kind of acts as a natural floodplain.
Mhm.
But with everything that's going on with the climate, you know, we're hoping the water doesn't come past the park and into our buildings. So that's because we've gone very flat ground. So I just want to know if you knew if there was any changes in the, you know, coming up to the FEMA floodplain map.
No, I don't think there's any changes to, because I think that area is in the floodplain now, you know, it's like current, when you look at the FEMA flood map, it's there. And it, you know, so I don't think there would be any changes there. I think, you know, what we're hoping to do is see if there's ways of adapting the places like that, like the park, where, you know, the roads or some of those things. So, so I don't think the FEMA maps will change much in that area anytime soon.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions online? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you so much for your presentation. All right, so up next, I know who is joining us online. We have Frank Verdente with the Fairhaven, Connecticut Intervention team. So he'll be giving up a few updates here. Thank you so much.
Again, for giving me the time tonight. I just wanted to give you guys some updates on some of the stuff that we've been working on in Fairhaven. First and foremost, I'm one of the co-organizers of Fairhaven Day. What started as a very small event is going to explode on Saturday. I know Mary Wade has 800 people plus in the parade. We're expecting 1,500 plus at the event. It's going to be something special. There will be something there for everyone, families especially. We got confirmation that the food trucks are all paid for, so the food will be free at the event. So make sure you come out early, 10:30 lineup for the parade at Chatham Park for the Mary Wade parade. They will parade through the streets. I want to say, David, correct me if I'm wrong, Clinton to Grafton, Grafton to Atwater, Atwater to Pine, Pine to Clinton, Clinton to Grand, and Grand to Fairhaven. We will get to Fairhaven around 12:30. There's over 100 agencies that have tables for giveaways, information. We have youth vendors, adult vendors, sports agencies doing free clinics. I mean, you name it, we have it. And I guess I just have to thank all the people. I mean, when CTVIP approached me about doing an event in August, I approached Sarah Miller about helping me get it off the ground. And I never thought in a million years that it would get this big so fast. And the people that I have the ability to work with, I'm in awe of. So thank you everyone for that. Fairhaven Day, don't miss it. The website is fairhavenday.org for the entire calendar of events and all the other stuff. Bus passes are free, food is free. What else? Okay, so some neighborhood things I just wanted to touch on as well. I know Mike Fumiati was on here earlier talking about what he was doing, but I want to say, as the street outreach worker, I have
Frank.
Yes.
Before you jump off the parade, there's
Yes,
parking
David.
available on Pine Street in Mary Wade's parking lot
Okay.
for the day as well.
Yeah, and I mean, people who know Fairhaven, I've been telling too, like, you can park in Seatown, you could park at Clinton Avenue School and walk over. I mean, there's so many different places you can park that people won't tow your car away. So, you know, don't be discouraged by the lack of parking, because it's going to be a great event. Don't miss out. Is that good, Dave?
Thank you.
No problem. So just to circle back, being a street outreach worker, I have noticed an impact on the increased police presence, especially in some of our hot spots. I have relationships with a lot of these guys that are hanging out on these corners, And the fact that Lieutenant Fumiati's guys are out there, and they're not only just going out there and rousting these guys, there's conversations going on, there's relationships being built there. You know, so I definitely see, I've seen a difference at Chatham and Ferry, a substantial difference at Chatham and Ferry over the last few months. Not perfect where we would like it to be, but better. And as well as Grand and Atwater. You know, not all the time, they're still out there, but the police presence is paying off. But I will circle back to the illegal garage thing that I know Mike and Fumiati and I and Carmen Mendez and I have been speaking about a lot. And it's something that we have to attack in this city because it is contributing not only to poor quality of life, but as we saw on Lewis Street, you know, the characters that that frequent these establishments aren't always the most upstanding citizens. I videotape and photo every person who walks in that yard because I know there's illegal activity going on back there and I'm trying to catch it. But on top of it, you know, I watch oil changes being done and fluids being just dumped into the ground. The trees along my fence line don't even grow anymore. I see Click Fix It, and whoever is in charge of See Click Fix, when I say it's a health issue, I can't breathe, like, you know, we'll kick it out to somebody else. So, you know, I have been putting pressure on different city departments to take more action on quality of life, because as a lifelong Fairhavener, I'm a firm believer that the quality of life, poor quality of life contributes to crime. If these people are out there, they feel comfortable in neighborhoods where they can commit crime, they're going to. If it's poorly lit, if there's no response by the neighbors, you know, the police can't always come right when you call them. You know, sometimes as neighbors, we have to police our own neighborhoods. We at CTVIP, we're looking to step up our Fairhaven crew over the next year. I'm looking in the next year to have at least 4 guys under me in Fairhaven. I need Spanish-speaking street outreach workers. If you know anybody with connections to the streets that may want to get out here and help us clean these streets up, let me know, because we are definitely going to be hiring new street outreach workers in the coming future. Again, the illegal garages and stuff, guys, Carmen does a good job, but my own personal experience with this has been zoning only has 3 hours a week to deal with it. I finally got the guy from zoning out here to take pictures of this property next door to me. It has been tagged as illegal. Now it's about how long is it going to take them to get it down. I have been in constant contact with Mayor Elliker regarding these the cars. Guys, I'm from the booming system generation. I had a booming system in my car. These are not booming systems. These are concert venues on wheels. These cars have 20 car batteries in the trunk. They have 100 speakers. They have boxes that they put on the top that they pop out and fold out. All right. In some states, these are illegal. We need to push Mayor Elliker to make an ordinance to make these illegal so that the car gets confiscated. I believe New York City does that. So this is something I'm taking very serious, is the quality of life in Fairhaven, because I believe if we improve the quality of life in our area, we will lessen the crime. We're not going to stop it all, but we're going to lessen it. So that's about all I've been working on. I've also been working with Miss Patricia Adger and others on some of the traffic calming stuff, because that's another serious problem, but I'll leave that for the people who deal with it. I was going to hold this for another time, but I think now I have a platform to do it, guys. I have been in Fairhaven my whole life, right in this ward, 15, my whole life. And over the last 10 years, I've watched it deteriorate. So as a result, I've asked CTVIP if it was all right with them, and I've got the clearance. I will be Monday going down to City Hall to run for alderman for Ward 15. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
May I speak?
Is it a question for Frank?
It's a suggestion for Frank and us.
Okay, quickly, David, quickly.
He just went through a list of major issues that are impacting negatively our neighborhood. My suggestion is that we as Fairhaven management team come up with a list of these issues and prioritize them, and then focus on the worst, and all of us focus on the worst problem and then start moving down. This is not one of my ideas. This is something that's been going, that was started years ago to clean up Chatham Park. But to me, that would be the most effective way to do it, is list all the items, prioritize it here together, and then we start taking it one at a time, all of us, all neighbors, phone calls, letters, emails, a letter from the Fairhaven management team, registered, sent to the mayor. You know, that to me, that should have an impact, and it would at least give us an action plan.
I agree, David. I agree. And
I
like
think-
you, I'm ready to fight for Fairhaven.
I think that's a great idea and would be a great thing for one point person to take the lead and propose, you know, a substantial amount of that dedicated to a meeting in the future.
Well, Frank already gave us the list, so why doesn't he just write it up and submit it to the board of the management team to, you know, discuss next meeting?
I will do you one better. I will do the list. I'll put my phone number in the chat. Anybody in the meeting, feel free to text me any of your suggestions, because I don't like to do things by myself. I'm a team player. So let's do this together.
Great. And Frank, you could send those to us as well, and we can also jump in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that suggestion, Ms. Mahato. Next up, we have Ms. Robin Moore Evans with the Elizabeth Salato Child Care Center with a CDBG grant request, and I believe she may be joining us online.
She's right there.
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. Student Parenting and Family Services Elizabeth Salato Child Care Center is located at Wilbercross High School. We've been there for the last 28 years, and we are requesting a letter of support in the amount of $13,175. The program is NIAC accredited, which is the National Association Education of Young Children. We are partners with Early Head Start through United Way of Greater New Haven for the last 8 years. We're licensed for 32 children. And we serve strictly parenting teams throughout the city of New Haven that attend any New Haven public school and receive free childcare on site to support them academically and their children as well as the student, if someone is able to graduate and go on to college, if their child's under 3, we may be able to keep them until they turn 3. But the program is for parenting teams, and we've been very successful with our graduation rate. This year we will have 6 graduates. 4 of them will be from Wilbercross, and the other 2 will be from I think Career, and 1 from Hill House. What else can I tell you? The monies will be used to support mental health consultation with our students, the parents, as they have, since the pandemic, come in more so with a lot of mental health issues and needing more support. Also support my position as a director and some projects that we work on with the students and getting them involved in parenting education as well. So it's what we're asking for.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moore Evans. Are there any questions either here in the library or online for Ms. Moore Evans? I don't see anything here in the room. Do you see anything online?
I don't see any hands. I am going to let everyone know that we do have a vote to offer our letter support for the CDBG grant. I will put that link. Oh, we got one question from Lee. How many schools do you serve in Fairhaven, or kids in Fairhaven and other schools? So it's at Wilbercross, correct?
Yes, the Child Care Center is at Wilbercross, and so we serve all high school students in the city of New Haven, and currently as far as, are you asking for cross students or? Let me just see your question again. I'm sorry.
I'm asking how many students at Wilbercross, since you've just defined the school, how many of those students are from Fairhaven?
Right now we have 17 students enrolled, so there are at least 8 that are cross students.
From
And then-
Fairhaven.
I'm sorry? Oh,
Those are-
from Haven, yes, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good reason for us to support this program.
Thank you.
A good program.
Any additional questions? All right, I don't see any on my end. Thank you very much, Ms. Mark Evans.
Thank you.
We'll proceed to-
We do have the voting form linked in the chat, and for those of you who are in person, you can, we'll send this out on the after meeting email as well. And it's just the one question this week, so that's all we got.
Thank you so much, Adam. So moving forward with, under the categories of environment and immigration, we don't have, anyone speaking today. Health, housing, and public safety is the same. With arts, culture, and library, we have, of course, Mr. Morrison joining us to give his updates.
Hey, folks, I'll just echo some of the comments you've already heard. Please try to attend Fairhaven Day on Saturday. We, of course, here at the library will have a front row seat. Obviously, you can, tour the library as normal, but we're going to have a table outside. We'll be sharing it with a lot of our community partners. One of our presenters or performers, whatever you want to call it that day, weather permitting, on our lawn, we're going to have Laurel City Swords. Laurel City Swords is a historical reenacting group that shows you how they did fencing and competition, combat in the Middle Ages. So it's going to be pretty interesting, interactive, we're told, but should be safe. Also, for all of you folks who are remote, you didn't get to see our art installation today, but Fairhaven artists installed some art on our main floor, and we'll be doing some installs on Saturday. So that will be another reason to come by and check out art by local artists. We're later in the month, they're actually going to have like a formal reception where you can actually get a chance to meet them and know a little bit more about their art. But anyway, so come see us when you're at Fairhaven Day. Next Saturday, I wanted to let everybody know about a program. So that's May 13th. Many of you may know Folly Delgado from Gather New Haven in the Gardens. She's probably about once every couple of months, she's been doing another DIY gardening program, and she'll be back for one on the 13th. This one is about nourishing your garden. It's you need more than just water and sunlight to have a successful garden. So she'll be back in for that. And when you're here, we'll pick up, we'll offer more flyers and other things that we have coming up. One of the things that we're going to be excited about later this month is we are working with the Community Economic Development Fund out of Meriden, where we will be having Spanish language start a business classes. We're going to have a couple in May and a couple in June. So it gets started later this month. We'll have some flyers about that on Saturday. Looking forward to all those and seeing all you folks soon. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, so moving forward to, tonight we're not voting, right? It's just an update item on the bylaws.
All right, no, we still need to vote, and also Meet King, I think, was waiting.
So let me start with the intro from Meet King really quickly. They're joining us via Zoom.
Hi. We want to thank Carmen that she give us a little bit of her time of her presentation for us to present ourselves. My name is Rosa.
I'm Fernando.
And well, what we wanted it was, to put a face to our name and to tell you guys that we're really honored to be part of this community. I know we technically are not in Fairhaven, but we feel we have a lot of customers from Fairhaven. And, we want to tell you that we are here, that we are honored to be part of this community, and that we are here for all Fairhaven and New Haven community. And we wanna to let you guys know that we are acquiring the C-Town brand coming soon. And we will have a grand opening in which we all like for you all to be part of it. It'll be May 19th. We'll have like the cutting ribbon ceremony at 11 a.m. That Friday. And we wanted it for you to meet us, and we wanted for you to know that we are here for you, for the community.
And also, we're gonna try on that Friday or Saturday, we're gonna be giving free food on our parking lot. So, for the community to come down and see what it's all about. And we try to give a new facelift to the store. I guess y'all know this is all where Ferraro's used to be for over 60 years. So we did a little facelift, but still wanted to keep, so people feel comfortable coming in here and shop. So, we want to let us know that we're here for anything, and for the community to come down and on that date on the 19th, which is going to be our grand opening. And like she says, we're going to be merging with C-Town. As y'all know, C-Town changed the C-Town was in Fairhaven, now it's called Key Food. They switched over. So now C-Town came to us, so the name is known in the neighborhood. So we think that will help us, gain customers to come down to this side of the area in Grand Avenue.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Are there any questions?
Just a comment. The store is absolutely beautiful and clean, and I thank you for it.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
We're doing the best we can, so the grand opening day
It looks
comes.
great. It looks
Thank you
great.
very much. And
Thank you,
we're
appreciate it.
working on the parking lot. I heard y'all speak about a lot of issues, that we have a lot of issues in this parking lot where illegal stuff goes on a lot. We're trying to fight it. We put cameras all over the place to try to, to let them know they are being watched. We had a couple of gunshots inside this parking lot already. But we try to put as many cameras, we put lights in the front, so it's lit up all night. We try to put, I heard one of the gentlemen saying this parking lot was also used for cars for people to come change their oil and stuff like that. We had to get a tow truck company to start, taking cars out of here, because it was just like a night parking lot for everyone. And they just come to the car, empty the garbage here, and we had in the morning, they litter the parking lot. So basically, we are dealing with a lot of issues, but we're going forward, and we're going to try to clean up as much as we can.
And we're here for all your shopping conveniences, and we try to be part of this community too, and we're honored to be here. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Thank
That's exciting.
Thank you.
Everyone can make it out on May 19th for the grand opening.
Thanks. Come welcome. Well, you're all welcome. Come join us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you for your patience in waiting as well.
No problem.
no problem.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, so next up is the bylaws and the voting. Should I go to Fairhaven Day first? Or
I'll do that with
Okay.
Sarah's update.
Okay.
All right, it's all you, Adam.
All right, so we have quorum once again. Last month, we managed to get through a good chunk of the proposed new bylaws, and I wanted to see if we can get a little bit further this week. So I'm going to start up the slideshow. Basically, what I'm going to do, for those who might not have been here last month, I am going to read out the bylaws. If you have any major concerns or want to debate it or change it in any way, let me know. It's not going to pass right now. If you have a simple question, go ahead and ask that. We can answer that. But right now we're just trying to get all the ones that don't have any sort of, you know, if everyone's okay with it, we consider it passed. So I'm going to share my screen here. So we got through all of Articles 1 through 4 last week or last month. And I gotta let people in. So this one is completely unchanged from the old bylaws or the current bylaws, I believe. If you want to kick any of us elected officers out, so elected officers may be removed for cause, an act that may harm the good name of the organization or its membership, or for missing 3 consecutive meetings by an affirmative vote of 2/3 of voting members present at a regular or special meeting. In the event of a proposed removal of an officer, the petition to remove and the reasons for removal shall be presented to all the members present. An opportunity shall be given to those members present, including the affected member, to explain and contest the reasons given to justify the removal. If voting members vote for removal from office, the corresponding secretary will notify him or her of the action in writing. An officer being considered for dismissal for a reason of missing 3 consecutive meetings has the right to contest the decision before voting occurs on the grounds that he/she has a justifiable reason. So this is all straight from the current bylaws. If, you know, any of us executive officers or board members or whatever you want to call us, we do something that kind of harms the reputation of the management team, or if we just stop showing up, you can kick us out with 2/3 vote. Does anyone have any questions or need to change the wording or debate this issue?
None here.
All right. Oh, Lee, did you have something?
Just a point. Yeah, just a point. I know, you know, with the current group, this is highly unlikely to happen, but there isn't a course of action if the person causing the problem is the correspondence secretary. I'm wondering if we should put in there that should the issue be with the correspondence secretary, then the recording secretary takes his or her place.
I mean, they still get removed. They just don't get a letter because there's no, so.
The responsibilities, I think we did this regarding payment when the treasurer is the payee.
All right,
Just to have
so
a
I'll consider
backup.
it. Yeah, I'll consider it for editing. We'll come back to that in a.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, the next subcommittees. Article 6A, the chairs will nominate the heads of all subcommittees. Approval of the subcommittees or appointment of subcommittee heads shall be approved by a simple majority of the officers and subsequently by the management team. We talked about subcommittees earlier in the bylaws last month. Basically, they are primarily advisory. For example, this bylaws committee, you know, we didn't just change the bylaws willy-nilly. We, you know, are making suggestions to the people of the management team. And that's basically how all subcommittees go. And so chairs nominate the heads of the subcommittees. And does anyone have a problem with that? I hear none. I will consider that passed. All right. Unless otherwise specifically authorized, the power subcommittee shall be advisory and limited to making recommendations to the full membership. I just said this. So does anyone have any problems with this? Hearing none. It'll pass. All right. Subcommittees will be convened as needed. Specific policies and procedures will be developed by each subcommittee. Again, if you're a subcommittee, you don't have to go by the whole, you know, every Robert's rules and everything like that. You know, I know that our committee for this meeting, for this group, you know, we kind of operated more just, you know, as a discussion and consensus and everything like that. So, yep. Does anyone have any problems with this subcommittee rule? All right. One more, I think. All right. Article 7 amendments. So right now we're rewriting the whole kind of bylaws, but if we just had minor changes, theoretically, we could do amendments. We just had so many things that we decided to give a whole bylaws sweep. But these bylaws have been voted on and approved by the officers of the Fairhaven Community Management Team membership. By the, that's a typo, community management team and membership. On the, whenever we approve it, these bylaws may be amended and replaced by a majority vote at a meeting of the management team after a written notice of proposed amendment has been provided to the members at least 30 days prior to such a meeting. So we did that here. We gave both a digital and a printed version at the library. And so in it with the word "and" here, team and membership. Does anyone have any problems with this? Questions? All right, hearing none, that shall pass. So we have now removed any kind of non-discussion, non-contentious points. I think in the interest of time and to allow the alders to have a chance to speak, I'm going to go through all the points that I know are going to have a discussion. And if you have a personal recommendation, please email the community management team at fairhavencmt@gmail.com. And then also I'll reconvene our bylaws committee here, and we can make some edits and come to you with some new ones. So the ones that are currently in need of a little love is not this. It is B, wait, Article 3. I'm trying to, Article 2, okay. Article 3B. The chairs and 2 officers will preside at all meetings and nominate the heads of all subcommittees. We had a challenge to this last month. I can't recall it off the top of my head, but I can go to the video if I need to. Does anyone remember what the issue with this one was? No, then I'll check the recording. So this one we're going to talk about. This one, the vice chair will manage the role and attendance at all meetings, as well as keep all records of attendance up to date. The vice chair will also assist the chairs in maintaining matters of order and decorum at all public meetings. In the event that both chairs are unable to attend a meeting, the vice chair will chair the meeting. I think that this might be what was wrong with the previous one, is that this says that the chairs have to be there, and this one says that the vice chair can do the meeting in the event. So we'll get that kind of contradiction looked at. D, the treasurer will be responsible for handling, accounting and handling of the funds, and will make monthly financial reports as well as annual financial report in January. Any bank accounts may require 2 of the authorized signatures. That's not super clear. And also we're going to add a section here about how the treasurer cannot write checks to themselves with the community management team money. If the payee of any check is the treasurer, it has to be done by the corresponding secretary. And that similarly will be added to this corresponding secretary section. The other things that we had, this one, the first Thursday of November each year shall be designated the annual meeting unless otherwise noted. Elections for officers will occur at this annual meeting. Newly elected officers will take their positions at the December meeting. There was discussion that the December meeting should in fact be with the old officers, and they're kind of overlapping and double doing it. And then in January, it's a full transfer of power. So again, we'll meet on that as and discuss that. I know that we discussed this originally. Does anyone have any like kind of quick thoughts on which one's better, that new elections, you get elected in November, you take over in December, or do you take over in January? Does anyone have any?
I say January.
Yeah.
All right, the January seems to be the general consensus. So, all right, I keep that in mind. And then the other ones are the ones we just the removal of officers. So we need to throw a thing in here about how if the corresponding secretary is the person removed, the other secretary, recording secretary, will be the one that sends them a letter saying, hey, you've been kicked out because you stopped showing up or whatever. All right. So yeah, I think that we'll have to kind of reconvene so that, it's kind of rough to get all the language exactly right in the, half hour that we have remaining. So I'll get together with the rest of the bylaws committee and I'll come back to you hopefully one final time with the final distribute or final language on all of these. Does anyone have any questions or concerns or anything that you'd like to bring to the committee right now? All right. Thank you very much. And one more, hopefully next meeting, we'll be done with all the shenanigans. So I will see you in, what is it, June.
Thank you so much, Adam. So next up, we will go to the Alder reports quickly. I know I saw Alder Kupo online.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe, I'm not sure if Alder Kupo is still online with us.
Yep, no, yep, they just gave us a wave, so.
Hello, good evening, everyone. For folks who don't know me, I'm Ellen Cupo. I'm the Alder in Ward 8, which has parts of Fairhaven in it. I live over on Brown Street. And I think I want to just kind of start my report by saying that I really had the pleasure last night of, I chair the legislation committee of the Board of Alders. And it was my pleasure to have so many of you I can see on Zoom tonight at the meeting, speaking up in support of the strong school redevelopment that passed out of committee, and it will go to the full Board of Alders for a vote this summer. And so I'm excited that will begin. One thing near and dear to my heart, I grew up on Downing Street, and so I spent a lot of time going between school, my grandma's house on Quinnipiac Avenue, and home. And so to see Strong School come back to life and really take on new life is just so exciting. Thank you to everyone in the neighborhood and in the community who, really threw their weight behind this project. Truly incredible work. It's going to be gorgeous. The one other thing I would add is that on Monday night, the 8th at 6 o'clock in the Board of Alders chambers, the Finance Committee will have their last public hearing on the budget. So for folks who care about safe streets, quality of life, good jobs at the city, opportunities for youth, I encourage you to go and make your voice heard. You can also submit written testimony before 2 p.m. on Monday to public testimony at newhavenct.gov. I'll put all of that in the chat. But other than that, so I'm the chair of legislation. We'll be meeting over the summer. There are a number of things coming our way, one of which on Monday was, of course, the strong school redevelopment and zoning, but also rezoning to allow for cannabis sale to take place in the BE zone on Long Wharf, which is a very small parcel. If folks are familiar with where the old Long Wharf Theater used to be, we're kind of talking about right back there. But yeah, happy to take any questions that folks have, and I'll put all my contact info in the chat should you want to reach out.
Thank you, Elder People. Any questions here in the room? I don't see anything online.
One, okay. At this point in the budget process, they're just reducing, expenses, not adding to, correct?
So for the budget process itself, every year the mayor submits to the Board of Alders his proposal on what the budget should be. So there's line items for everything from salaries to how much money we put towards parks, right? So this is all encompassing. And so what we are deliberating, or what we will have deliberations on, is what the mayor put forward, what the public has weighed in on. And then at the end of May, we'll make deliberations and vote on the 22nd of May.
But
I
you
hope
can
that that answered your question.
At this point, you can only reduce, you can't increase anything, correct?
So good question. Well, I mean, I'm really proud that the Board of Alders fought really hard alongside, in my work life. I'm a member of Local 34 at Yale, and we fought really hard to get Yale to contribute more to the city of New Haven. We had a campaign that lasted the last 8 years, and last year we were able to secure more funding from Yale to the city. I think to their normal contribution is about 10 million. We got them to contribute 20 million. It'll be 52 million over the course of the next 4 years. And also we got an increase from pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes that comes from the state. But all of that was from folks, I know folks on this call who advocated at the state level, who came to public hearings in the city. And so yes, when we're talking about, because so much of the land value in New Haven is non-taxable because Yale owns it. Hi buddy, can you ask daddy? I have to fix it. I'm sorry guys, I have to fix it. It's a racing game. Here, let me help you. Oh wow. So yeah, oh, I know what you need. There you go. You're welcome. Sorry. So yeah, so when we talk about, right, like the money that the city, the money that we get from taxes, from taxpayers like all of you, yes, usually we are in a really tough spot with being able to fund everything because Yale has not contributed enough money to the city of New Haven for the entirety that it's been here. And so yeah, we usually have to work with less, but this year is exciting that we've gotten ARPA funding, we've got more money from the state and more money from Yale to actually invest in our city.
Thank you, Elder. Any other questions or comments? I don't see anything here in the room, online.
I see none, no.
Thank you so much for your report. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You guys too.
Thank you. With Ward 9, Elder Claudia Herrera, I did not see her in the library. I'm not sure if she's online. I'm just double checking.
I haven't seen her now.
Okay, don't see her. And moving on to Ward 10, Alder Ana Festa. I don't see her here in the room, and I don't see her either. Alder Sarah Miller, Ward 14. Addie will be giving her report.
Yes, so Alder Miller is regretful that she can't be here tonight. She has not provided a written report this month just due to the fact that she's been co-planning Fairhaven Day very assiduously. So her two main points that she wanted us to relay is one that Alder Kupo already got to, which was that the Board of Zoning Appeals, the strong school redevelopment is going to the next level. So that passed through the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. So that will go before the next group, which Alder Kupo talked about previously. And the second thing is just Fairhaven Day. Definitely come out. It's going to be, as you've heard, an amazing day. Free food. I think there's like 10, maybe 15 musical performances, multiple vendors. Fairhaven Community Management Team will be one of the vendors. If you would like to help us table, We will be setting up tables, giving away candy, sharing a word about this public forum. If you'd like to help us, come talk to me or email us at fairhavencmt@gmail.com. We will be there repping the management team all day long, and you'd be welcome to represent the management team as well. And that is all from Alder Miller for this month.
Where exactly is this taking place?
Most of the events will be in the library of this, in this library's parking lot. Yeah, so there'll be like a sound stage, I think like a small
It's
stage.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the entirety of the school property, including Exchange Street will be blocked off as well. So
Yeah.
both sides of the building, front of the building, rear of the building, Exchange Street, library property,
Yeah.
auditorium and gym.
Yeah.
And
there's also
the playground.
And the
there's
playground.
also events that are going on, like, yeah, like on different streets in the neighborhood. So in the e-blast, I sent the flyer, and that tells you exactly where every event is gonna happen. So that'll be there in the follow-up as well, and you'll have a guide to all the events and where they are.
This is about the strong school. I know our last meeting, a lot of people had concerns about the parking, so everything went through, then.
Yeah, everything went through. Yeah, so there's the flyer.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's great. Yeah.
Because remember last month, were you here last month?
No, I was
Yeah, a lot of people had concerns about the parking and the use of the parking lot across the street, because of the businesses.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, and we didn't hear anything back on it, and now.
Oh, the vote passed. So everybody, like the majority of people approved it. So
So,
there.
and specifically, I want to throw in the vote was very limited. The vote was only that the zoning for the strong school be a single zone. It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything else. That was the only thing that we supported.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, correct.
Yeah, so the parking is a whole nother issue that's
Yeah, no,
not addressed.
We didn't vote on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam, do you mind pulling that flyer back up? So that's what I'm
Sure.
gonna say. You'll have it in your email, and it'll tell you exactly where everything is gonna happen all day long. I for one have blocked off my entire day because there's so much to do that I want to hit it all. So you'll see stuff all over the city of New Haven. So there you go. Have at it. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. All right. So yeah, that'll be coming to your email.
Thank you so much, Abby, thank you, Adam. And quickly, with Ward 15 and Ward 16, Elder Ernie Santiago, Elder Jose Fresco, I don't see them online nor here in the room. So just wanted to quickly encourage everyone to vocalize their need to have the elders here present. They're always welcome every month.
The ward chair is here. Me and John for Ward 15.
Oh, all right.
We're
Welcome.
here most of the time.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
So just call them, email them, encourage them to either join us online or here in person monthly. And with that, if there are no further announcements,
I have a brief announcement.
Oh, go ahead, Adam.
So I'm going to share one more screen. So this is what my day job here. I work at the community healthcare. And on the 9th, which is Tuesday, we're having a community meeting to talk about the what Fairhaven needs, all that kind of stuff. We've been Fairhaven's, we've come in, we've said, the new building, all these kinds of things. So this is just a really good chance to talk to community members. It's going to be at the Atwater Senior Center. So that 26 Atwater Street, but basically just north of Grand on the, west side of the street. And I'll also send this to Abby so that she can get it in the email, but open to anyone. Are you a patient? Are you not a patient? Whatever. I don't care. Come on down, give us your thoughts, your ideas. We've got light refreshments, you don't speak, English, Spanish, whatever, please come. So that's my announcement.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Adam. And I see Lee's hand up online. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, two quick announcements. It's after the next meeting, but I just want to remind people that we have another festival, the Q River Fest, and that's on June 6th. So it's after our next meeting. But we've got a pretty good, pretty packed program as well. And you can find out about it if someone could put this up on the chat. qriverfestct.org. qriverfest.
Yeah.
ct.org. And then
June
a second
3rd.
thing,
June 3rd.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit under the weather here. Yes, June 3rd. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then the second thing real quick is there's still 17 minutes left to join in the Great Give. And I just want to let you all know that 14,135 people have donated to 516 organizations. And for the benefit of all of us, 3.398, almost 3.4 million has been raised. Help get us to, we just went over we just went over 400,000. So $3.4 million has been raised. You can give as little as $10 and you pick any organization that you want. So the website is thegreatgive.org. This is an annual event of the Community Foundation. 17 minutes left. Please join us. Thanks.
Also $5 minimum, not 10. So that's like a
Even-
coffee.
even
Come
better.
on.
Yeah. Any nonprofit you want. Thegreatgive.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Did Kathleen ever show up? No, Kathleen?
Yeah, she did. Is she still here? Is the better question? No.
Okay.
So she popped back in at some point, but
Okay.
appears to have left again.
That's all right.
All right, thank you so much. If there are no further questions, comments, anything that needed to be added, announced, then I'd like to formally adjourn the meeting. And if you had anything that you wanted to see on the agenda for next month, just shoot us an email at fairhavencmt@gmail.com. And we can work with you on getting that on for June. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hold on, I move to adjourn. Robbie seconds, and we're out of here. Wait, all in favor, and we're out of here. Okay.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We had a little rough audio there at the beginning, but it seemed to come together. So hopefully I see everybody on Saturday. I will be at the Fairhaven Community Healthcare table all day. So you can come
Don't
say
miss
hi.
Fairhaven Day. Don't miss Fairhaven Day.
Yeah, should be real nice. So
Thank you so much. Have a great time.
Slowly.
good night, everyone.
But I'm Abby, by the way.
Okay.